and this is something that people don't understand, but they should, is that when you're getting stuff made, especially content, it's a representation of who you are as a business. I always value networking. It's been in large part what's helped me get where I am. So I do value that. I always try and focus on what can I do to help rather than what can I take from the relationship with others. I've learned that's the best way to do it.
See.
End of the day, you don't want to be friends with someone who's just asking you for stuff all the time, right? Like,
no, of course.
You know?
Of course, you want to be providing.
I'm not implying anything about this conversation. That's just personally what I've, learned through networking with other people, is when I've gone and say, hey, can you help me with this? Like, as the first thing I say, it never usually works out well. So the way I like to approach it is, I don't know you that well, but I'm sure I'll get to know you more here. Exactly. But I'm always, how can I help, And
exactly.
Really
and it's the same thing as well. Like, I have spoke to people that I'm just like, I'm genuinely just like, the people that I ask to do things like this, especially when I've literally said like, no, I'm going to record it, it's because, I value your opinion, and I've not seen a lot of what you've done either. And it's just, for me, all the stuff that I want to put out is like what you said. Like, I just want to provide value to others as well, so people are just watching and they can get inspiration, motivation just from hearing my side and your side as well. But yeah, the reason I wanted to speak to you is because like, you're one of the only other people that I know. I don't want to be like, oh, like no one else has a fucking idea what they do. But it's in terms of I know people like agency owners that openly say they have not got a fucking clue what they're doing in terms of actual content. Like, they've got graphic designers, they've got video editors, etc. Whereas me, before I got into this whole agency sort of whatever you want to call it, when push comes to shove, I'm a video fucking creator when it comes and it was just me leveraging sort of my video sort of skills, if you like, that has allowed me to now do this as well. But yeah, obviously for some people, I am probably going to put this on YouTube as well. Sign a little consent form for me somewhere. But for anyone that doesn't sort of know you, just introduce and to me as well, because I only know sort of what social media lets off, which is not always the case for some people as well. But yeah, just introduce yourself a little bit, man. Just tell me a little bit more about what you've been up to.
Yeah, so I guess this would be going out to your channel, right?
Yeah. And honestly, my channel is not specifically around what we do at all. It's more so literally I used to work in a gym, so a lot of the content used to be me fucking doing bicep curls for most of it. It's very much so me documenting my life. I'm not really putting it out in terms of, it's more so for me to look back, if I'm being honest with you. But I've had people that will reach out and say, oh, can you do a video about that or a video about that? And it's just literally just the same what you just said. It's more so me just trying to pass on any knowledge that I can as well.
Yeah, no, the reason I asked is just because I don't know how basic you want me to go to introducing myself to your audience, so I guess I'll just start from the top.
Yeah.
And also the other thing too is I've done similar stuff to this. There was a time, and I plan on getting back into it. I've just been so busy with my agency that I haven't had time for my own content, which is, to be honest, I'm being frank with myself, it's hypocritical. But
yeah, I'm the same though, man. I'm the same.
It's hard. It's a lot of stuff you got to do. But, recording calls like this, having a camera set up in the background, I've done that before. I've recorded coaching calls. I've recorded in-person meetings with coaching students, all that kind of documenting style. I really am attracted to that because I feel it gives people really good insight into what's actually happening in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Now, it's not really the most SEO focused content. It's not the content that's going to rank as well. It's 100%. Not the content that the most amount of people are going to watch, but the people that do watch really start to fall in love with who you are and your story, and that's what's really powerful. And
just to literally jump in before you actually fully go into introducing yourself.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, what you said about not being able to produce your own content, you know, what I said before is like, I've always been like a video creator. So since I did fully launch it, like I haven't managed to make like my own videos. So I was doing, you know, when I was speaking to people like yourself, other people, blah, blah, like I was videoing it and I was recording this just because I felt like I wanted to watch that type of content. So exactly what you just said, like you're not going to rank or whatever for these videos, but for me, if I found this video, I'd be like, oh my God, that's a little gem. That's a hidden gem for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. It's powerful stuff. And I think, I mean, I don't completely agree with everything Gary Vee says, but it's his style of content. So
what do you disagree with? Sorry, I'm gonna push your buttons.
No, that's fine. I do not. After you know, I've been doing this for 2 years now, and I haven't really introduced myself yet, but I will here in a second.
Go on. Sorry, man. I keep like.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. I think in the beginning, I used to really like Gary Vee. When I first got into entrepreneurship, this was about when I really started looking into it. It was and researching and trying things. It's probably 4 or 5 years ago now. I didn't really start full time until it was April of 2017, so it's just over 2 years. And what I've learned just from learning about other people, successful people, being around people, I was in 2 Commonwealth Cup coaching last year with Russell Brunson.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Yeah, so I got to network with a lot of high-level people. And one of the things that I've really come to terms with myself is develop my own opinion about what really makes a successful entrepreneur. And one of those things for me is that I disagree with what Gary Vee says about hustling 24/7. I don't agree with that. I think it's killing entrepreneurs. It's destroying their lives because they think they have to commit to hustling all the time, losing sleep, not spending time with family, not doing other things that are important. And yes, you have to work hard, but you also have to work smart in the time that you have. And if you do that, if you work efficiently in the time you have, whether it's an 8-hour day, as long as you're working effectively in that time, you're not, you know, kind of like wasting time and being super unproductive, then you do not need to be trying to work 24/7 and literally just grinding yourself to the point where you burn out. That's the one thing I completely disagree with what Gary Vee says, and I hate that he's telling young people to do that because it's not necessary. So that's what I disagree with. He has a lot of good things to say, and there's a time and a place for hustling. There's time, you know, I've done it in the past too, where, you know, I've put in 16-hour days, and that's great. There are times when you, quite frankly, want to put in that time, and you're just kind of like motivated and you just want to do it. But there are times where like you need to realize that that's not something that's sustainable. You can't do that every 100%. Single day, day in, day out. And you know, I think
like I'm prone to that as well. Like there'll be days where I'm literally like I wouldn't even want to say how much, but then I'll have days where I literally do fucking nothing, and you think that's a repercussion of that as well. Is because like you said, it's not sustainable to be doing that every single day.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you want to be working. Like that's fucking cliche as fuck, but you do want to be working smart. You don't want to be working hard all the time. Like you know, there's certain systems you can put in play, or you know, if you are earning I feel like if you are profiting at all, then you should be looking at improving those systems so you're not working throughout the day. So, but yeah.
Exactly.
Go on. Introduce yourself, man, before we forget who you are.
So, we had a nice chat there already, but so my name is Jordan Kilgour. I'm 25. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for just over 2 years now. I started out in social media marketing, had a background in graphic design since I was 16. I did freelance graphic design.
Sick.
And kind of developed that skill of, you know, having an idea of branding, positioning, design, all those kind of elements from growing up. Have a real passion for it, and kind of just started out taking on graphic design jobs in the beginning. You know, I just to dive in a little bit to that decision making process, because I think that's valuable for people. You know, when I decided to go from a job to full-time entrepreneurship, it was very scary. It was very that time for me was a time where I felt that I was worried that if I did make the commitment that I wouldn't be successful. and I was like, man, what if I don't make enough to support my wife? Because at the time I was married. I'd been married for about 6 months.
Oh, you're married. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's coming up on 3 years here in August, so it's time flies.
You got married quite young as well.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and
Nice.
and my wife is everything to me. She supports me. She's the reason that I'm where I am today, and I wouldn't be here without her. So
what does she do out of interest?
So she actually graduated last December with a bachelor's in psychology.
Nice.
And so she actually works with the state,
Cool.
helping families and kids make sure they're in the right place. So
Nice.
she's got, she loves her job,
cool.
and I'm really happy for her and everything. And it's awesome that she's doing something that she loves as well. And I support it fully, even though I don't really agree with college necessarily for entrepreneurs. But for her, like that's what she wants to do, and I'm really happy for her.
Oh, wicked, man, wicked.
Yeah, so jumping back to the story here, like that decision where I was jumping from a job into full-time entrepreneurship, I've been kind of stewing over this idea and this decision in my head for probably like 6 months or longer. I just hated my job. I hated it. I could not stand working that job.
What was you doing?
What was that?
What was you doing before?
So before that, I was working in a call center, and I was also started doing some sales. I did sales, which sales is a good skill, but at the time I just hated working for people. I wanted to be on my own schedule,
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that I was going to take the plunge and just my wife had decided to go back to school. We were living in California at the time, moving back to Idaho where she was going to school beforehand to finish her degree. So we moved back there, and that's when I decided, I'm like, look, I am not going to go get a job. I'm just going to fully commit. I'm going to go all in, and I'm just going to give it everything I got. And the worst thing that could happen is I'd go get another job. Like that's not a bad scenario, right?
Which is always available to people as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know everyone's circumstance is completely different, and there are times when, you're looking after your family and stuff, but if you can, even move back in home, do what you can to decrease your expenses and just make that plunge. If you really want to make that plunge, you just got to do it. And after the first month, ended up making around $2,000, which I was just like so blown away that I could even do that.
Nice.
But I put my heart and soul into it the first month, gave it everything I got. And it just kind of started growing from there. My confidence started to grow. I started to realize that, hey, I don't need to rely on someone else to have a job, and I can do this on my own. So over the months ahead, I started building up, I started kind of getting into social media marketing a bit more because that was what intrigued me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I had actually previously worked a year before that in a social media marketing position at a internet marketing company.
Okay,
so that was really interesting to me, and I really enjoyed that. So I wanted to obviously pursue that a bit further. So basically from there, I started just learning, how to get clients. I went into businesses like door to door even. I recorded some of my meetings. I have them on my channel. I have even live meetings I had with people. And from there, it just kind of developed and molded and shaped into what it is now, which is run an agency called Unleashed Media. We have 2 employees right now. I'm a video producer and a social media strategist, and we basically help successful entrepreneurs create video content and then distribute that content on their social media to build their brand and drive leads. Wow. So, there's a lot more to that story, but I had to obviously condense the 2 years down into one thing, but that's basically where we're at. And we have a couple of clients right now. We have a few more prospects here this week might be bringing on, but it's the last 6 months for me has been insane. I've had so much fun just building, systems and building out my team and everything. It's been a great experience, and I love what I do, and that's the most important thing to me. And I finally figured it out because a little side note, for these last 2 years, I've really been up and down with like, want to try this, want to try that, want to try this, and I was like, what is my one thing? What is the thing that I want to focus on? This is it. So I'm really happy with where I'm at right now.
Oh, Matt, that genuinely puts the biggest smile on my face as well to hear someone say that. That's amazing, man. Just sort of walk me through a little bit. You said, you made $2,000 in your first month. What was that sort of like? What was you? Because obviously, I'm guessing you previously just said to me that you sort of changed what it is you're actually doing. So what was what was the first thing that you sort of made it and was like, fucking hell, I've made $2,000. Like, I'm never going, because at that point you're thinking, I'm never going back to work again. Like, it's just like, you're like, if I could do that in a month, imagine what I could do like in, So talk me through that a little bit.
Yeah, so the first month, it was mainly just leveraging the skills I already had.
Sorry, keep checking my phone. Sorry. Go on.
No, you're good. It's fine. The skills I already had, which was graphic design. So I kind of went out, tried to jump onto as much low-hanging fruit as possible. Logo jobs, website jobs, stuff like that. Just all types of design jobs. I just went out then tried to find them. And then I think in my first month, I also landed like a client. It was like, I think it was $500 a month or something. I was like so happy about it. Yeah, and from there, I kind of tried to wean off the graphic design and then move more into getting more clients with the agency. And I was basically, in the beginning, I basically was running Facebook ads to landing pages and selling a low ticket offer to get them in the door, or a free offer to get them in the door. So, for a chiropractor, it was a free adjustment, stuff like that. So at that time, that's kind of what I was focusing on. And, as time went along, I kind of realized how I was basically a glorified freelancer. I wasn't an agency owner.
Yep.
I was doing all the work, and that was overwhelming to me because it was like, if I'm having to do all this work, there's only so many clients that I can take on,
Mm-hmm.
I got to take on so many clients. If I'm one person, I only have 24 hours in a day. I got to sleep, got to eat, got to do other things. So yeah, that's where I really ran into a bit of a bottleneck. I didn't really know what to do and how to find the right people.
So how did you sort of transition into, like what you said, a glorified freelancer into this agency? Like you said, you got 2 employees now. How did you let me reframe that a little bit as well. How did you feel losing control as well with that? I'm saying it like that just because I know that's gonna hit you differently than
no,
how
it's a good question
it
because it's true.
How did you cope with that?
There are too many people in this space right now who claim to be agency owners, but they're not. And I'm calling them out because I want them to know and realize what's actually happening. I'm not calling them out to make them feel bad about themselves. But the reason why is I was in this position and I remember feeling so frustrated. I remember feeling I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to solve the problem because I was burning myself out because I was having to spend more time with clients. In the beginning, I wasn't getting paid a ton because I wasn't charging higher prices yet. Mm-hmm. And when you're literally using all the time you have on your current clients, there's no room to bring on a new client. You can't. Mm-hmm. And you want to because you want to increase your income. But you literally can't because you'll burn yourself out.
And you're also, as obviously like a business owner that's working with people on that level as well, you're also so focused on providing them value and providing your existing customers results as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I don't know exactly your question, but I think you said going from glorified freelancer to agency owner. Right?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
How did you lose control? Like, how did it feel losing control? If
So that's the other point I wanted to make is we entrepreneurs, we have a really hard time letting go of control because we think that we can do something better than anyone else. And for the most part, it's generally true. But there are things that people are better than us at that we can bring on and help us to get things done. Definitely. For example, my video producer that I have, he's been in the space for 5 or 6 years. He's way better than me at video production. Way better. I mean, I get it at a basic level, and I'm pretty good at it. I could do it, but he's so much better. He's on a whole new level. Sorry to interrupt you. So when you say video producer, so you've got someone like so you're not talking like video editor, like you don't go shoot the content and then swing it to him. Like you've got someone there that goes out to your local clients. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And they're not just local. We don't really focus on local. We just do national. We just focus on getting our ideal client. That's all that matters to us.
Nice.
We're not doing local. So we'll fly to the client. Our services aren't cheap. They're definitely high end. But it's because of providing a high end experience and a high end return on helping, these successful entrepreneurs really brand themselves and get back their time, because biggest problem for successful entrepreneurs is they don't have time. So if we can help them buy back some of their time so they can focus on the most important things, then it's a win-win both ways.
Unreal,
right?
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
So yeah, this video producer, he's in charge of, you know, recording all the content with the client, playing the content, and then bringing it back in-house, getting it edited. We don't have an editor specifically dedicated to that yet. He's doing that at the moment as well. As we grow, then obviously we'll be looking to hire editors, and he's in charge of that, not me. You know, he's kind of overseeing that. So you can already feel and see the potential in just being able to find the right people to put in place. Now, there are a lot of logistics, and I'm sure you and other people who are listening probably have a ton of questions about, like, how do you get to that point? How do you find the right people? What do you pay them? All those questions. But at the end of the day, like, the transition from a glorified freelancer to an agency owner is the best decision that you'll ever make. And it's better to make it sooner rather than later. And I think the most important part about trying to find the right person is you've literally just got to go out and interview people. You've got to go out there and find the right people and talk to them. Don't just select the first person that you see because it's easy. It is a little intimidating going out and trying to, like, interview a bunch of people, but, like,
very, very
you've got to find the best of the best, you know?
Yeah.
You've got to find the best person that fits in the position that you want, that believes in your mission for your agency and what you're trying to do, and that he or she can fulfill the work that needs to be done, and that he's the right type of person, you know? So one really quick tip that might be valuable to some of you, if you are looking to hire someone, you're thinking about it and you've been nervous to do it, or whatever the case may be, make sure that you strive to not hire entrepreneurs. Do not hire entrepreneurs. The reason why is because they will always wanting to make more money, and they'll always be wanting to make, you know, the $1 million or whatever they want. And it'll be really hard to keep them on long term because they will always want to raise. They're not comfortable in that position because as entrepreneurs, we want to grow, we want to become more, we want to improve, right? And so you've got to find the people who love their craft and love the role that they're going to be put in the agency, and are completely content and happy doing that, and willing to put in the work and kind of help your business to grow, not theirs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's really interesting. That's something I learned. I've learned these last 6 months is just, you don't want to hire entrepreneurs. I know it sounds good and it's, like, cool to talk to them and they get you and stuff, but when it comes down to it, when you're having an agency, you want your employees and your contractors to be focused on just doing their craft well and doing it better and supporting your business. You don't want them trying to build their own agency off yours and then contract in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It just makes things messy.
Yeah.
Because they're always having to make something off the top. So you have to pay them more too.
And would you say you found that with your video producer?
What do you mean? That he's not an entrepreneur type of thing?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
He is all for Unleash Media. He supports it. He feels a part of it. And I'm so lucky to have found him. He goes above and beyond, and he's always willing to put in extra time and effort to grow Unleash Media, which I really, really appreciate. You got to find good people, man. That's the key there.
To growing it, yeah. Wow, that's sick, man. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. So talk to me a little bit more about because I know for a fact it's not like, you know, obviously you say you're now doing pretty high end stuff because yes, you shoot the videos, but it's not you don't just shoot the videos and then say, have this sort of thing to the client. So you're doing a little bit more in terms of like the actual distributing the content as well. So just talk a little bit more about that for me as well.
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to lay out our process. So, and this is what I'm really proud of, because this is something that we do that not really anyone else does. And that's why it's taken so long for me to get where I am. Really this whole idea started back in November of last year. So I've been working on this ever since November of last year till now. But our process I guess how our process flows is, in the beginning we'll kind of onboard the client. That's all automated and systemized, so we don't have to be a part of that necessarily.
Yeah, that's part of that automated stuff you need to get out of the way as well, right?
Oh yeah,
that stuff. When you haven't got a clue at the start, like you'd be surprised how much that takes up time, and you think you build that automation thing, and then you're like, why the have I been doing that all that time? So yeah,
right. Yeah, so after they're onboarded, they schedule their first strategy call on the onboarding. And the first initial strategy calls we have, there's a series of, depending on what the client signs up for, 1 to 3 strategy calls. Basically, that's just to get understanding their business, figure out what kind of content they want to create, just brainstorm ideas, and then we kind of move to the planning stage, where we'll help. We'll bring a bunch of YouTube SEO research we've done based on their niche to help them find videos that will rank that we can create.
Okay.
And then we'll get together, we'll plan the content with them, and we'll kind of build out a script. So we have scripts that we use, kind of a template that we use to help them plan that out. And so those scripts are then worked on so that they're ready for filming day. And so generally that happens about after they sign on, 3 weeks to 4 weeks after they sign on. And we make sure that all the YouTube SEO, the planning, the scripting, all that's done for week 3 or 4. And that will be, we're basically planning to film 90 days worth of content within a 3-day period.
Nice.
So that's the goal, right? So, all the scripting has to be done. If someone signs up for our lowest tier package, which is a video a week, we'll be shooting 12 videos, right, in 3 days. If they do 12 videos, it'll be only a 2-day thing, not a 3-day. If they want more, then it's obviously we need to, play to how many videos they need based on how many days we need to film those. So do you have a question?
Yeah. So I didn't want to interrupt. I feel like I've been interrupting you quite a lot. So when you say like the videos, is it predominantly like YouTube, Instagram, or all over?
Yeah. So we always top of content funnel is YouTube. YouTube is always the top of the content funnel, because you can create content based on that YouTube video and move that down. So we'll create a YouTube video, we'll cut that up 1 minute for Instagram. You can also post that 1 minute on Facebook. You can post a longer video on Facebook too. It's kind of like you could even do both and just kind of spread them out, schedule them out differently. And then basically we're also creating like a quote post or a brand post, because we generally focus on personal brands, successful entrepreneurs, right? So we'll create kind of a brand post for them per video. So we kind of have it's kind of hard to explain exactly, but we kind of take the one YouTube video that we record with them and turn that into
maximize the
content. 2 different videos. Yeah, 2 different videos distributed among 3 different platforms, and then we also take something like a brand post from it as well per video we record. So then we kind of can distribute content out during the week, other than just one day posting a video on YouTube. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how it works, generally speaking. And then after we kind of plan, script the videos, make sure they're ready, they'll kind of go over the scripts, they'll have them printed out, ready for them. My video producer will fly out to the client at either their home or a scheduled location or an Airbnb, whatever the case may be, film that content with them for a 2-day period, and get all the content they need. Also, depending on kind of what people sign up for, we'll generally also take some brand photography for them, so we can incorporate those into the brand posts and have some content for Instagram for them, because we're trying to give them everything they need in order to brand themselves. So we may as well just take some brand photos while we're there, where we have something set up that looks nice, right?
Yeah, especially if you're like flying to these places as well, you want to make the most of that time.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, exactly. And then after that, that's the only real big part that they need to commit to, is that 2, 3, 4-day period of time in a 90-day period to creating content. Other than that, they're pretty much all hands off, other than a few calls. So then video producer will bring all the content back in-house, we'll get it edited, and get it distributed. We'll implement the YouTube SEO. My Instagram growth strategist will implement his growth tactics into the content we've created, and yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. So we'll just kind of handle that content over the next 3 months, getting that out, depending on what they signed up for. If it's once a week, then we're getting that content out once a week, and so forth. So that's kind of basically how the process goes.
Nice, man. And yeah, that's what I love as well. Like you can tell like how you're speaking about it is there's so much passion behind it as well. So,
oh yeah, I'm super passionate about it.
As well, like because obviously you've said like where you're at now, and I'm guessing it wasn't always sort of like entrepreneurs you were making content for. Who did you sort of start? Well, I know you said how you sort of transitioned into video content, but was you ever creating content for like businesses, or is it always been personal brand sort of stuff since you was doing the videos?
Yeah, it's a loaded question. I've had a really hard time with identifying my client avatar. Over the last 2 years, I've realized more and more how important it is to know who you're talking to. And a lot of times, you know, when you ask, you know, this is like a defining question whether you know an entrepreneur really knows what they're doing. You ask them, oh, so, you know, who are you selling your coaching program to, or who are you selling your course to? Oh, everyone who wants to be an entrepreneur. It's like, no, you don't know what you're doing, because you've got to have someone that you're specifically going after in order for it to be effective. Now, I'm not saying that everyone can't benefit from it, but if you don't relate to any person, then no one's going to be able to relate to anything you say, right? And people are going to get confused, because you could be talking about, you know, I don't know, let me think of an example. You could be talking, let's say, a different level of entrepreneur, right? You could be talking to an entrepreneur who's already making $50,000 a month, or you could be talking to an entrepreneur who's never started a business, who's still working a part-time job and in college. There's a disconnect. If you're trying to make a video and talk to that person, and then try and make another video talking to that person, people are going to get confused on like who you're trying to talk to. So if you have one consistent voice, one consistent ideal client and customer, it's not to say that only that person will listen, but there's some consistency with how you're talking to your audience. So anyway, come back to your question. In the beginning, I was going after kind of the avatar that I was. So typically this happens a lot, is when you're a marketer, a digital marketer, entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, typically what happens is you go after the same avatar that you either were or you are. And the reason we do that is because we understand ourselves, right? So we know how to talk to that person, you know? And so, and a lot of people say that as well, sorry, just to jump in, I've done the course before, and they, you know, a lot of people say different stuff in courses, but like that's one thing that they said is like your ideal client is typically you a couple of years ago. So right, I agree with that. Yeah, exactly. And you know, I think that's who I was targeting. I was targeting kind of beginner entrepreneurs, helping people to just get motivated, get into the business, start going out and getting clients, start taking action like I was, right? And that's kind of who my ideal client was, or my customer. And over the last 2 years, that's kind of developed into something different, because I started to really understand what it takes in order to really clarify like who you're going after and understanding them on a deeper level. So without getting onto the details, like my agency right now, we are still in the same type of niche around social media marketing and content, a little bit positioned a little bit differently, but we're going after a whole different demographic. We're going after successful entrepreneurs, people who they're making a good amount of money per month. They're looking to buy back some of their time. They've generated a lot of money through their content and through their branding, but they just don't have the time anymore to be creating all these videos. They need their time back in order to focus on systemizing, automating their business more, so they can actually have free time to spend time with their family, to travel, do those sorts of things. And as well, like you've actually just half hit like a nail on the head for me as well, because like one thing like we always say is like pretty much every single business owner knows they need to be on social media, right? Yes. But you do still get some stubborn business owners that are like, okay, no, like I don't necessarily need to. However, like your entrepreneurs, or I shouldn't even use that because the type of entrepreneur you're going after is a lot different. But entrepreneurs seriously know that they need to be on social media. Whereas like a standard sort of like brick and mortar, bog standard sort of business owner, yes, they know they need to be on it, but they're probably not as invested as sort of like your ideal client. So right. Yeah. And I'm not saying that our ideal client is easy. It's probably the hardest type of client to go after.
Because
to be
also the like losing control thing as well, right? Because I suppose they know they need it and they're invested into it, but losing control for them as well would be a big thing.
Right. Yeah. So it's definitely got its challenges, but that's who, I've wanted to help, and that's who I want to be there for the most. I mean, I'm not saying that our services wouldn't work for another business, because that's the whole goal, is that we want them to be able to, the video content and this whole strategy is meant to work for everyone, but those are the people who get it the most, and they need that the most because they're probably already doing that type of content, and that's who we're going after. So I guess the client avatar thing for me has shifted, and for full transparency, I know my channel right now has been focused on more of those beginners, and I've been lacking in putting out a lot of content recently just because I've been focused so much on the agency. But I know that when we start bringing out content here in the next couple of weeks, that those people are still going to benefit from what we're teaching and what we're helping them do. So, that's just something that, I wish I would have known from the very start, but hey, this is my journey. This is what I figured out. And some people get it right the first time. I have friends who have. They started off strong with the same niche and the same type of client, and they're still going strong for the last 2 years. Some people don't, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So,
of course. And I think ultimately, me still really, I can't say that I've got a niche, if you say, and I would be the biggest one telling me you need to get a niche, but whereas me, I started through Upwork and using those sort of platforms, and at that stage you are pretty much taking on anything, right? And then because you haven't got control of social media management for fashion brand, you're going to probably get nothing, right? And obviously when you are using stuff like that to get your initial clients, of course you're going to take anything at that moment. So
generally,
generally, if you've got no clients, then you're probably going to take on, unless you're very, very I think you've got to be pretty solid to be saying no to certain people when you've got no clients, because
you'd have to have a mentor or someone telling you that from the start.
Definitely.
Other than that, it's when we see money, a client with $500 a month, $1,000 a month, I'm going to take that. I don't care who it is. I'm taking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to say no to that when you don't really have any perspective yet on how to build a proper business,
Yeah, of course. And I think that is ultimately what you said, people don't know at the start. People don't know, 2 years down the line, you might say tomorrow, you want to work with businesses again, and businesses change, right? So, but that was my thing, was I got sort of online clients and then used that as a leverage for local clients. And it wasn't, at that point, it wasn't about yourself, you wanted to help entrepreneurs. Me, at that point, I was already making enough to keep my head above water. And I was just going to local businesses because I genuinely just wanted to help these local businesses. So now, it's hard because I've got loads of local clients, so I can't, and they're all different as well. Because in the same sense, what you said about actually sustaining a business, I've got restaurants, hairdressers. I know for a fact that if I was to niche down and just do hairdressers, then it would be then we could go and we could pile up those hairdressers. But in the same sense, a lot of my clients are local clients, so I don't exactly want to have this hairdressers here and the hairdressers here, because do you know what I mean? Because I want to stay loyal to that hairdressers, and I want it to be look, that's my hairdressing client, that's my and I think that is that's a bit backwards for some people, but I think like what you said, ultimately, is it about the money or is it about what you're actually doing? I think and I think that is the same thing when it comes to niching down. I feel if I was to have niched down and just stacked on top doing the same thing, of course you could scale it to a ridiculous point, but I'm thinking I was when I started it, I was always thinking the long-term vision for it.
It's that's one thing too, and a lot of these things that I say have been through my own experience. These are all things that I've gone through in my own experience, getting to where I am. But I think one of the biggest things here, Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can still hear you. I've lost the video a little bit, but go on. Oh yeah, you're back.
Okay. Should be back. Yeah. The biggest thing here is it's always based on my previous experience up until this point, and the one big thing is that you want to work with local businesses, but you don't have to be local to take on local businesses, right?
Well, that's one. I almost feel like I've half effed up a little bit because, like what you said, like I'm now not really at this point, but especially when I started, I was half expected to be at those local businesses. Yeah, you know what I mean, and the same. It goes back to what you said. If I had a mentor, probably saying, "Don't go to those local businesses. You're gonna dig yourself a hole." I would have probably been like, "Yeah," or I would have said, "Look, I can help you out, but I don't need to come to you," because obviously once you start doing things for people as well, they do. There's expectations get sort of.
Yes, there is.
Things, so, but yeah.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a big stereotype in the social media marketing agency community is that you need to go after local clients and you need to be able to meet with those people in person. You don't. Like, if you look at all the high-level entrepreneurs who are doing social media marketing right now, generally speaking, they are not going into their businesses. They are doing all communication through Slack and through video chat. Like, you don't need to be going into these businesses locally. You don't. So that opens you up free reign to go anywhere you possibly want to find any business, right? Mm-hmm. So you can go out and be a little bit more picky with who you're reaching out to, because you can kind of pre-qualify them, make sure they're a good fit, and not just say, oh, well, that's all there is, so I'll just try. Like, it's a whole different approach. And as long as you know that you don't need to be going in and meeting in person, and you are communicating that, like when you get on the phone with these people, just say you live in, I don't know, let's say you live in California and then you want to go work with someone in Florida, like, as long as when you're talking with them on the phone, you're not sounding weird, like, oh, I'm not local, but like, I wish I was, or like, even if you mention, hey, I'm not local, like that implies that you should be local with them.
Exactly.
Like, don't even bring it up. Just make it normal procedure. Say, oh, yep. So the way we work with our clients is that we get on video calls and we talk. We get on a video call once a month, just review the month, whatever the case may be. Like, make it normal to not be local, but work with local businesses.
Definitely, yeah.
Because they will see right through you if you're just like feeling weird about working with someone who's not like down the street,
Yeah. No, definitely. That's funny you say that as well, because I like what you said about like taking yourself out of it. I've actually got one of my other halves. She's a photographer, so same thing. Like, because I've only got 2 local clients, but same again. Like, they would be expecting me to go and create content, and like I said, that's my passion. So I like going to those places and creating the video content. And at one point, that was like one of my biggest goals, was to be known locally as the social media guy. So and it all depends, I suppose, on what your goals are. If you want to be like that remote person, then of course. But that was one thing that I've now done. Then to her was I now get her to go to my local clients. She's a photographer. Like what you said is about taking people on your team that are better than you as well. Like, I am not a photographer at all. Whereas like this restaurant, like, I know for a fact that she so I was ignoring you, as she's literally there at the moment, and she's texting me like, I'm obviously done, blah blah. But like, for me, like, to send her there, I know that she will take some amazing photos of that food that I would never ever be able to make, and as well, it's taking me out of it that I haven't got to go there. That was one thing with her as well, is like, when I was first initially asking her if she would do it, because she was my other half's friend, I was like, can you jump on a Skype call? And she was like, what are you talking about? We live like 10 minutes down the road from each other. I was like, no, but that's not what I'm getting at. So it's funny when people are always like, because some people even like I know like locally, and I'm like, can we jump on like a Zoom or a Skype call? And they're like, can't we just meet up? And I was like, yeah, but like, look, it's gonna save an hour for me to come meet you and an hour for you. Like, it's just gonna be a lot more beneficial for you. And also, I don't think people like utilize like the screen sharing and stuff on these calls as well.
Yeah.
Like, even for me to be able to teach someone from just like sharing the screen is so much better than me sitting next to them and teaching them, if that makes sense.
Right.
Personally.
Yep.
Anyway.
No, 100%. Yeah, and I think you made a really good point. I think that it's important to note, and that is when you find people who are better than you at what you're trying to do with the client for yourself, it's easier to let go of control.
Oh yeah.
Because
100%.
you're confident that what they're going to produce is better than what you could produce.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
100%.
like it's just a win-win, and that's why it's so important that you don't just take on whoever. Like, if you you definitely probably want someone to get someone on like as soon as possible, and it may be frustrating like spending all this time trying to find the right person. But if you get complacent and you just kind of take on someone because you're done looking, like that's when those decisions are so critical. They're so critical because having the right team members sets you up pretty much forever with your business.
So, sorry, just to pick your brain a little bit with that, because obviously, like you said, you've got like in-house people. So I'm guessing your process to find new people would be a lot different from my process to find new people. Mm-hmm. What sort of stuff do you do for that? Obviously, you're not currently looking for anyone. I'm guessing you've got your guys, but what was your process with that? I'm guessing you're not obviously using like Upwork and stuff to find these in-house people.
So are you specifically talking about finding employees or contractors to work with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's just like there's so many different ways that you can do it. I used to work at. I used to go to the school up in Idaho. My wife and I moved here to Maine about. It's been 3 months now, I think. It's been 3. We moved 3 months ago, and then we just moved another couple of weeks ago to a new location, just a bit closer to our work. Yeah. So back in Idaho, I went to college, and there was a lot of film students that were there, and I ended up just getting contact with one of the more practical ways is find colleges or places where people are doing film and doing production, doing the role that you want, and go there, go into class, talk to the teacher, talk to the people, find out their experience, see some of their work. Like, that's where you can get cheap, people to work for you. Because generally, they want money. They want to get paid for what they're doing, what they're passionate about, right? Because they're going to school. Maybe, some of them are wanting to start their own business, but they're generally going to school so they can work for someone, right? Like, that's the point of college, is they teach you the skill and develop their skill generally to go and work for someone, not to run your own business, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a great place to start, and that's where I found my video producer, and we ended up becoming good friends before I left. And so it was, he came through just a network through the college, through the school, and I wasn't going to school at the time. It's just like it was a college town, so I just met a lot of people, in our apartment complex and stuff. Yeah. And so that's how I found the video producer. And then my social media strategist, I actually started looking all through Upwork, trying to find the right person. And basically my goal was that I was going to interview a bunch of people. And so I would go on Upwork, I would look for people, but what I would do that was different is I wouldn't contact them through Upwork. I'd find their information off platform. So I'd contact them and DM them on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, and contact them that way, then get on a call with them outside of Upwork. That's the best way to do it. Working through Upwork is just a pain in the ass. It just sucks.
That's what I do as well. I was always doing that. I once made the mistake, when I was first using Upwork for that, was in my in the job posting was oh, if you're so and so, email me, and then put my email address, and I was just getting flooded with emails. I was like, what?
Oh, really? That's awesome.
So then I'm literally just, oh mate, I fucked up so bad. So but just because I wanted to touch on just on the actual job role of what you were talking about before. When you say you've got a social media strategist, what does that consist of? Out of interest, So I have
have a 4-hour document that I use to basically go over the roles of who I need in a company. So let me just pull it up real quick and I'll go right through with you on the roles. But I mean, the main focus that he has is he's really focused on Instagram growth, organic growth. So one of our clients, the last 75 days, have gone from 0 to 21K followers.
Shit.
Completely organic. Yeah. No fake followers or anything like that. These are all legitimate.
Wow.
So yeah, he really focuses on Instagram and full management. So he does like comment management, posting, 3 times a day, a bunch of other things. Basically just handles all of Instagram, all kind of like business requests, sponsorship requests, collaboration, stuff like that. He'll basically just send people information to then reach out to the client, send it to their email so they can get all of those inboxed and see like, okay, this is a cool collaboration, this. So that keeps them all in one place. So mainly focused on Instagram right now. I had him doing a little bit of YouTube or getting to start on that, but right now I am doing most of YouTube at the moment, so I'm still working a bit in my business, but I'm looking to hire someone for that. That's just something that I've always been really, really good at, and for the most part, it doesn't take a ton of time. So I'm doing a lot of the YouTube SEO research and stuff at the moment. So yeah, that's something I still need to remove myself from. But yeah, let me pull up this document here. Sorry.
That's mad things with the Instagram growth as well. That's honestly one thing that I'm looking to find someone for at the moment as well. So
gotcha.
Was that
Upwork it's tough
as
to
well?
Find someone. Let's see.
Was that Upwork that you found the Instagram growth guy?
So funny story. This I have a lot of connections with just other entrepreneurs in my space, and a bunch of them have done a lot of Instagram growth before. So I contacted them, I reached out to them, and kind of got some contacts from them to reach out. And then I also had someone that I actually knew in Australia. I hadn't talked to him in probably like it'd been maybe 6 or 7 years, and I was never really friends with him, but I noticed he was doing some Instagram stuff. And so I just messaged him. I said, hey, like, I'm interested in what you're doing. And I basically just, reached out to him and ended up seeing some of his results, and he was getting insane. I was like, dude, like, he just kind of done it for like 6 months, I think, and he was getting some just disgusting results. And I was like, dude, like, how are you doing this? Like, yeah, I'm doing it all organically too. I'm like, what? Like, how are you doing that? So obviously didn't like spill the beans on the whole process exactly, but like we talked quite a bit over the little bit, and we decided to work out something where he would basically come in and do all the Instagram growth for our clients. So he was actually found through, I did some outreach to current connections I had, and then I just noticed him on Facebook, and I was like, I saw something about Instagram, and I was like, oh, okay, like, I just had my eyes open to opportunities to find someone for that role, and that's when they came. So kind of, I don't know, a combination of everything, really. Just
everything, right? It's just everything.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to not give you an exact answer. It's just like
no. I'm just curious out of generosity, because like it's the same. Like, excuse me, it's the same. Like I was looking for like one thing. Obviously, like I said, is a lot of the videos that I do is like I'll physically go and shoot the content. I haven't really got to that stage where I'd get someone else to do it. I think I could easily get to that stage, because I know a couple of people locally that have actually reached out to me from colleges, asking me what I'm doing, which would be great. But big thing for me was I wanted to build out my video editors, and I was doing like I had job postings up on Upwork, people per hour, like everything, and was just looking for video editors. And then I was literally sitting there like in between like interviewing people and looking through like show reels and stuff like that. And I was just on Instagram, and I was literally just typed in like # video editor, and then I was literally just looking down Instagram, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Literally see like right there, and then just messaged him, and I was like, do you do like video editing? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, like, so like I think, yeah, people like don't get so stuck in like the norm of like reaching out to people as well, for sure.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true, and it's something that people undervalue how important it is to find team members. Like it's so critical. It's more important than your service, because they're the ones that are going to be doing your service. Like it's more important than you trying to figure out like I don't even know like how to really help people see how important it is, but like they're literally going to be the people that you're going to be doing your client work.
They're
the sole reason why you get paid.
Literally.
So you need to make sure that you are spending your time finding those right people, because that will get you paid. You know what I mean? Like,
well.
If you find mediocre people, do you want to be delivering mediocre services to your clients? Heck no.
No.
So you find world-class people, you can produce world-class results, and you'll find world-class clients get paid way more than you would if you were to just settle with someone who, one, you pay them less, and two, you just find someone who can do the job but not an exceptional job. You have to pay these people more. You have to. But
you can charge more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what some people don't understand as well. Because I've had some people that say to me, and they're like, yeah, but like, how can I do that and you know get him to pay? No, sorry, that was it. So we was actually on like a thingy, and he was saying I had two graphic designers basically, and there was like one, and it was like $30 to do like 100, like no, not 100, to do like 30 posts. So it's like $1 a post or whatever, but they were terrible. And then there was another guy, and he was like $100 or whatever for 30 posts. And like I do some sort of thing where it's like, okay, so which one would you choose? Like obviously saying like the $100 one, because the graphics are 10 times better. And he was like, nah, the $30 one. I was like, yeah, but no, like just no, like you need to think about the quality and the quality as well. And I don't think that's what a lot of people think as well, because like they'll like outsource their existing clients but want to do it dirt cheap, but don't think about like the long run of if they find someone and earn minimal profit on that one client, but then go and actually sell the service for double what you've got that existing client for, but now actually charge a rate that is worthy of this new, you know, graphic designer that can produce amazing stuff. And I think that's different. And it is evolving, like evolving the company and just learning from your mistakes, I suppose, as well.
100%. Yeah, I think you made a really good point there. I think that's it's critical. I mean, people need to understand that, and this is something that people don't understand, but they should, is that when you're getting stuff made, especially content, it's a representation of who you are as a business and the type of service you provide, the quality of service you provide. So if it doesn't look good, then they don't think your business is good. Just
to touch one, like I honestly think is one step above that as well, because it's not even like me personally as well. You're not creating content for your business. You are representing another person's business, which I think is 10 times more critical, because like it's not even like they're giving you the content for your business. You're literally you're representing someone else's business. So you are literally the middleman. So if you haven't got the bollocks to say, no, look, that isn't good enough, or like, but I think it's a process.
Right.
But
100%.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about sort of like because you've been doing a lot more of like the ads stuff as well now, right?
No.
Oh, you've not?
No, we don't do ads.
I just made that up completely.
Yep.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, sorry, right. So
all organic. We focus on organic.
Okay, cool. Could you, when you say you focus on organic, like for people that would be like, what the hell is the difference between? Because a lot of people might have come here on like the back of like ads, and I don't honestly do ads for my clients. I only do management. But when you say organic, just explain that a little bit more.
So, I mean, paid is when you put money behind an ad to get it reach more people or get some exposure for that piece of content. Organic simply means that you are leveraging the platform's algorithm to get exposure and views and people seeing the content. So that's what we do with Instagram and YouTube. That's what we focus on. We have been implementing a little bit of Facebook ads for engagement type posts. We can run retargeting. But the goal is that we're not doing the ads. The client's already doing that. Like they have, because the type of clients we're working with, they should be running ads already. They should be converting their funnels, and they should be running, retargeting ads on their content. So we plug in and we just help them grow organic too, and push more people into those custom audiences to then retarget. So, because we can't be doing we're already doing a lot, and I considered doing some paid advertising as part of it, and it may be something I offer in the future as an additional add-on. But at this current point, we just end up being a general digital marketing agency if we keep taking on more things. Yeah,
of course.
We don't do ads, and that's why we're very good at organic. Right now, one of our best videos for our clients has 26 or 27,000 views on YouTube in the last 2.5-3 months of organic, no paid. So it's done nearly 10K views a month just off ranking organically. So we just really focus on organic and are really good at that. And the paid ad stuff is just not something we offer right now, and it's something that we kind of want the client to already be doing as a prerequisite to bringing them on as a client. Because then if they're not running ads, if they don't have funnels, if they don't have things they're selling, they're not going to make money off it even if we send them traffic, right? So they have to have those things in place for them to be a client, an ideal client, so that they're happy and we're happy, right? We can get paid the amount we want, and their funnels are converting, their things are converting, so that we do send the traffic that we know it converts. That makes sense?
Yeah, sure. That's interesting as well, though, because I don't think, I've not personally heard a lot of people solely focusing on that organic reach and actually doing the hard work of it, right, as well, and not just pressing run the fucking ad and see what happens sort of thing. No, that's sick. So talk to me a little bit more about the actual the back end of the SEO, the YouTube SEO as well, because that stuff interests me as well.
Yeah, no, I got to get going here soon,
man.
Yeah,
go on, man. I'm keeping you as well. I've only just fucking noticed the time. Go on.
Yeah, so I get going in a few, but YouTube SEO, so I've had some experience with it, obviously, on my own channel. I think I've made 160 videos on my channel. I have a few videos that have done, 20, 30K views, and so I've learned a little bit about what ranks. And then I've also implemented those strategies for our clients that, like I said, have gotten 30K views in the last 3 months on one of their videos. So with YouTube SEO, it's just kind of been a progressive learning these things over the last few years, and obviously talking with people and just trying and testing things. And what I've learned is that one thing that we use for our clients is vidIQ. That's what we use to help find SEO keywords for that. That's really important for you to have too if you're trying to rank videos. And basically what we'll go out and do is you got to use Google Chrome and use an extension called Keywords Everywhere.
Yeah, I've got
Keywords Everywhere allows you to see the monthly searches for Google, YouTube, and so basically what you do is you kind of do a bit of testing you start with your broader topic, say it's, I don't know, YouTube SEO, right? You start with YouTube SEO, right? So that's your keyword. And then, you can kind of see the monthly searches there. They'll pop up. And then if you go YouTube SEO for beginners, then it'll decrease the amount of searches per month, but it's a longer tail keyword. So what that means is it's going to be able to rank easier because there's less competition, right? And so then what you'll do is you'll plug in that keyword into vidIQ. You'll sort them based on their overall score. And then you'll be able to see what the best chance of, basically gives you a score based on competition, search volume, and what's the other one? I cannot remember. But competition and search volume, right? It gives you a score out of 100 based on how good or how likely you would be to rank if you would implement the right SEO tactics, right? So then you find some other keywords, then you plug them back into the YouTube search. You kind of cross-reference things. You have a look at the tags on people's videos. vidIQ allows you to see the tags in the search of what people are using for their tags. And so you take a look at the top 3 to 5 videos, seeing what tags they're using, see what ones are actually relevant and what aren't. And you kind of just copy and paste tags that fit the video you're trying to create. And you kind of, we just have a template we use. So we come up with, we basically, 500 characters of tags as much as we can, title, description, thumbnail text, and then write a description there as well in a Google Doc. And then when we're ready to upload the video, we have all that data. We just copy and paste everything over and it's done. Nice. So essentially, it's kind of a process of using the YouTube search with keywords everywhere as a plugin, or the Chrome extension, and then also vidIQ, the SEO tool they have there to just see, get a list of some of the search terms. Some of the search terms are stupid, and I don't know why they show some of them, but some of them are helpful.
And that using like those apps as well, like the plugins, you do click on some YouTube videos and think like, why the hell are they tagging that in that video?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But, so you can just like take away those types of tags that aren't relevant and just put in the most relevant ones as possible. So, that's generally how the YouTube SEO is done. It's really not too complicated. You just gotta, I think, having experience with it. Yeah. Having experience with it gives you a better understanding of what decisions to make based on the keywords you're seeing. I think that's the difficult part. That's like the experience part that I've had, that it might be a bit difficult for other people, but generally speaking, like, you should be able to get a good grasp on it.
Yeah, especially if you're planning strategically planning these videos as well, and they're not just like vlogs.
Yeah,
you ain't got
planning and SEO before video idea, before the shooting. Okay, always.
Right, so I know you got to go, so let me just ask you one little question. Obviously, first of all, thank you very much for jumping on. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, but hopefully we can catch up again sort of like the end of this year. So just wanted to get sort of your goals for this year, because I would absolutely love to jump on a call the end of the year and you to say that, Olley, I've smashed all of those goals now. So what are you looking to achieve sort of this year?
Oh man, I used to say my goals all the time with people and put it out there in public.
Bro, if you don't want to, then don't do it. It'd be like,
I don't know how I feel about it anymore.
Just be like, you'll see soon.
Yeah, but I can share. This is the end of the video. I'm sure there's, I don't know how many people are actually going to watch.
I doubt a lot of people.
A handful of people.
I doubt a lot of people be here right now, so you're good.
Yeah, so if they're already all the way to the end, then they deserve to hear it, what my goals are. But right now I'm working with a very high level person doing 100K a month right now with his agency, and doing 100K with his coaching program. And I'm working with him as my mentor to build out our lead generation system so that we have things kind of flowing a bit easier and we're getting more leads. And so the next 90 days, that's my focus. So the goal over the goal by the end of the year is really to be generating around $250,000 in revenue by the end of the year, which I think it should be pretty doable based on, how things are going right now and implementing this lead gen. We need to bring on, the last 6 months has really been focusing on systemizing and building out our process, because there hasn't been a process because no one else is doing what we're doing.
Sure.
So we haven't been able to find someone to replicate, right? So it makes that process a bit longer. So it's really been focusing on that, bring on my team, all that sort of stuff. We're working with 2 clients right now. And so this lead generation is really to, now we've got everything in place where it's like, okay, we're ready to now bring in more clients. We've got a structure now where if someone came in, it's not just going to be like, okay, what's next? What do we do next? I don't even know. You know what I mean? We've got a good structure for it now. We've gotten results. We've gotten real results, which is the biggest part, is we want to make sure that this works. Yeah. And it does. So now it's time to bring on new clients, which is why I'm working with my mentor right now. His name's Alex Shalinsky, if you wanted to know. You can look him up. But he's incredible dude. He's an incredible dude. I've never seen someone as smart as him. He's so smart with systems and all that. So working with him, really excited about it. So $250,000 by the end of the year is definitely my goal in revenue for this year. So I think it's totally possible with everything that's going on at the moment.
Nice, man. Well, hopefully you get there, and I'm sure you will. Obviously, the what you've been getting yourself up to. So yeah, obviously thank you very much for coming on. I'll leave the video here. Thank you for anyone that has watched this all the way to the end. It's been a good one to get to know both of us. But yeah.
Cool, man. Appreciate having on. Hopefully there's something to hear that we shared that was helpful to your audience. So
yeah, man. Honestly, I'm not even. It weren't even for YouTube. To be fair, it's just obviously moving forward it probably will be, because I always think I always record this sort of stuff regardless whether I'm putting it online or not. Like, I like watching this stuff back myself as well, because yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, it's been real, man. Hopefully you